What if I told you there's a way to build and deploy lightning-fast web applications with almost no configuration? Every feature your app needs is supported. Multiple render modes, comes with its own optional backend server. Yeah, it's not magic, it's Nuxt. And once you see what it can do, you'll wonder why you ever built apps any other way. In this video, I'll walk you through why Nuxt isn't just another framework. It's a developer's secret weapon and my favorite framework by far. Let's break it down. I'm going to start with developer experience. Nuxt supports file-based routing. Just, follow the rules and your routes automatically work. It also supports auto imports, custom components, composables, which are like small functions that do specific things. And you know what? Also, all Vue APIs are supported. Yeah, you do not need to import ref and compute it everywhere manually. It's just there, ready to use. This drastically reduces boilerplate. It makes files smaller and easier to read. I mentioned multiple render modes in the intro. What does that mean? Well, Nuxt can render 3 different ways: SSR, SSG, and CSR. Server-side rendering uses their built-in server engine called Nitro, which we'll talk about next. And static-side generation and client-side rendering are also found in other frameworks, so we're not discovering America here. But what makes Nuxt stand out is the fact that it supports hybrid rendering. You can render a piece of your site on the server, and another piece can be generated, and yet another can be client-side downloaded. You can pick and choose which parts of your application use which rendering mode on a per route basis. Now, let's talk about Nitro. It's a server, runs on Node, comes bundled with Nuxt, and it's entirely optional. If you don't need any server functionality, you just don't have a server folder. And if you do want some server functionality, well, you no longer need another API project hosted somewhere else. You can just use Nitro server routes to execute any server code you need. The nice thing about this kind of implementation is that Nitro and Nuxt are tightly integrated, so you get end-to-end type safety out of the box via TypeScript. Speaking of TypeScript, it's the default. First-class support. If you stay within the Nuxt module ecosystem, or at least use libraries which include types, you'll have near perfect type safety. I say near because, well, it's TypeScript. Never gonna be perfect. But you know what is perfect? The ecosystem surrounding Nuxt. I think you would agree with this statement. The community surrounding a project can make or break it. Like, if you look at Aurelia, honestly, not a bad framework, but it's dead. Look at Angular, right? Great framework now. But because for a while it wasn't, all the attention shifted to the big 3. The Nuxt community is its strongest asset, followed directly by the crack team of developers. And not only is Nuxt well supported, but Vue too. There's a vast library of modules, which are essentially plug and play functionality for your application. You install the module, configure it however you want, and use it in your application. Everything from authentication, analytics, state management, UI libraries, and tons more. If you want to see which modules I like the most, I do have a video for that here. On top of community modules, there are also official modules, which supercharge your Nuxt app with custom fonts, icons, markdown renders, images, UI component libraries, and more. There's tons to choose from. You know what though? They still don't have an official authentication module. Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna see that. Okay, I just talked about official modules, but wait, there's more. Besides modules, the team has also built products that enrich your Nuxt experience outside of Nuxt itself. Nuxt Hub, for instance, lets you very, very easily deploy your Nuxt application to Cloudflare. There's also Nuxt Studio and Nuxt UI Pro, though the latter is gonna be free soon. So if you're chomping at the bit to get started with Nuxt, perhaps wait on UI Pro if you need those components. Okay, you've built the next HubSpot or whatever, and you gotta host it somewhere. Trivial with Nuxt. There's a lot of pre-configured deployment targets. Everything from Cloudflare, Azure, Render, Firebase, Vercel, hell, you can even host it on IIS. I don't know why you would, but you can. There are literally tons of one-click deployments. And actually, if you're using Nuxt Hub, you don't even have to worry about deployment at all. It just works. Though it does only deploy to Cloudflare at the moment, but it is going to support Vercel later. Last awesome thing about Nuxt that's on my list is that there's a very, very, very large amount of resources online, both on YouTube and Nuxt's own documentation website. You know, this makes it so easy to get started. And when you get stuck, you're definitely going to get unstuck quickly. Also, I'm sure AI can help as well. Actually, I know it can. And if you're cool, you're also going to join the Discord server, because there you can get even more help and meet other Nuxt developers. So to summarize, great DX, supports all relevant render modes, built-in optional server, full type safety, amazing ecosystem, steadfast official support, one-line deployments, and tons of learning resources. If I missed anything, do let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, do leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more Nuxt content. There's more where that came from. Until next time, take care.